if anger is impacting your business, then yes, in this video, I'm going to give you specific tools so that when you're angry, you can come back to feeling calm and confident. But what I'd rather do to help you long-term is spell out a process that you can actually implement that is actually going to help you so that it's not really part of your nervous system anymore. It's not that you won't get angry. It's that when situations happen that trigger you emotionally, you are just not going to go to that same level. And I've noticed this in myself personally. I also have noticed in my clients. I'll give you specific examples. And for me personally, I'll give you one example, which is back when I was a personal trainer. I was definitely in the more unconscious stage. And really on this channel, I'm helping leaders to be more conscious leaders. Back in the old days of me being less conscious, I would go, for example, to a TV producer. I wanted to get onto TV, and I can just remember because my needs didn't get met, because she said that I wasn't ready. That acted as rejection, and then I shouted at her, didn't hear from her again. So I understand the implications and impact of this behavior, which really becomes a habit. And there's two very, very important things that you must be aware of so that you can actually put this practice into place. So on the left here, you're going to see this chart. Now, this is from a group of entrepreneurs. These are CEOs, these are founders, these are entrepreneurs, multiple levels of income, some that are new to entrepreneurship, some, for example, running $100 million companies. And this is important because these other emotions impact you and your anger. So for example, if you have fear in the nervous system, then that's going to elevate you to be more angry. Things are going to be brought to the surface. If you're feeling overwhelmed and that's in your nervous system, that's going to cause you to snap and go into fits of rage potentially. Then there's anxious, all right? Guilt, shame. This is actually what I'm going to share later about things from your past, very, very key, that maybe are unresolved. Embarrassment. And then we've got, of course, anger further down towards the bottom, feeling lost, sad, and stressed. So let me talk about this one aspect here, going into particularly the guilt and the shame, which is if there are unresolved things from the past that you have shoved down and you have not dealt with. For example, in my case, bullying. In my clients' cases, parents, abandoning them. You may have had some kind of abuse when you were younger, and you have not essentially gone into the well, done that deep work. Then situations in your business where things do trigger you, they trigger rejection, they trigger fear, then what's going to happen is you are going to be out of control. And there's a very short distance essentially between the emotion and you either snapping, maybe punching, whatever those things are. And so what we have to do is, first of all, we have to look at you as that child. Oftentimes when I'm on a Zoom call coaching somebody and they're talking to me about, something that's been happening and it's hurtful, I'll ask them a question, and I'll ask it the same question to you. How old are you? Not how old are you now, but how old are you when you felt this emotion the first? And what happens is that people start to discover very quickly that a 7-year-old boy, a 12-year-old girl that was bullied, a situation in the past is still there. It's still alive within our system, and they don't know how to deal with it. And so it's very important for you to understand that we can go back essentially in time, unravel that, emotionally get a cathartic release, an energetic release, so that essentially comes out of you. And then what you're going to do is your whole nervous system just goes into a different mode. Then it's also very important. The second piece of this is about elevating your self-awareness and elevating your level of consciousness by elevating your energy to set a new baseline. So if we don't have that, then this is what happens. Situation happens, we snap. What we need to do is create this bigger gap so that when the emotion is felt, you go into, there's space essentially, so that you can observe yourself and notice within yourself what's happening. And then you can choose a healthier action, which over time you train so that then if situation happens, I'll give you one. On my website, you'll see some testimonials, and there's a group of men's testimonials there. And in one of those videos, this lawyer says, what I used to do was if, a client did this or someone did this, I would just snap. I would just, he said for hours, he was in this fit of rage essentially. And he said, now what happens is that these things happen. And I'm like, oh, well, just things happen. So that's a complete shift of identity. And so what got him there was the process of healing, about healing the things from his past. And then the second part was shifting his consciousness, right? Elevating his self-awareness through a process. And I'll explain to you what that process is. So with meditation, typically people use meditation as a tool to come back from feeling stressed. So if you get angry, meditate, relax your nervous system, it works. You can also use an acupuncture mat. You can use a cold shower. The trouble is that someone with that level of self-awareness, essentially when the ego, the false self gets active, you're off in your own world. It can be for days just in this kind of energy. And you've got to understand this energy shift. When you get that trigger and you're in this anger, you're in a different energy. And so you have to reset yourself. So with meditation, all of my clients who have this high anger and also are soothing with things like alcohol and other stuff to really numb themselves, essentially the process is for 6 weeks. They start off with 10 minutes of meditation, and this is every day because you need to rewire yourself. It's called neuroplasticity. So they start off with 10 minutes of meditation, they go to 20 minutes, then they go to 30 minutes, they go to 40 minutes, they go to 50 minutes, they go to 60 minutes. And what that does with different types of meditation, healing meditations, letting things go, not just the same thing, progressive and deeper, it basically gives you essentially a spiritual upgrade, a self-awareness upgrade, an energy upgrade, so you're not on that plane. It sets a new baseline. Now the trouble is, if I'm just being brutally honest with you, the trouble is that entrepreneurs don't see the link between that and their business and actually becoming more evolved, which is really what I'm teaching here on the channel, which is about being a conscious leader. And so they need accountability, because if I say to someone who's angry, let's do this work, if I give them some kind of immediate relief, what's going to happen is they're going to think everything's fine, but it's just going to happen again because they've not dealt with the past and they've not done the work. So if you actually want lasting change, if you want permanent change, you need to do that work to retrain the brain. You've got to build in that neuroplasticity essentially to change who you are as a person, so it's no longer part of you. Just like if you're drinking and you've got that internal push and pull. To get to the other side so that you actually don't want to drink again, in that example, you need to shift your identity, right? You've got to do that work. So as somebody that's here, you have to be honest and say, yes, I can do that, and go and do it, right? Do the meditations, right? Go through the process. Or you have to say, I am humble enough to say that I need the accountability. I need the meditations. I need someone to guide me through that process. And that actually is part of being a leader, is actually saying, I need that support. I need that help. There are different ways to heal things, right? I've invested over $250,000 in my own personal growth. I've wasted a lot of money on stuff that doesn't work. And I can tell you now, with the people that I've worked with, and I've done this consistently now for years, it works. The process works if you do the work, right? Yes, you can do things like hypnosis. Yes, you can do other things. But in terms of lasting change, me with my addictions, me with my anger, and my anger was linked to my trauma, essentially, I needed to do that work and do it consistently. So the process, two things here I just want to wrap up this video and remind you of. Recognizing the things from the past which are unresolved. And the second part, which is essentially training your nervous system to be in a different state by doing the progressive and deeper meditations. This is not the 5 and 10 minutes, which most entrepreneurs are either trying to get to because they're not meditating yet. It's progressive. You're going deeper and deeper into the subconscious, and essentially see it like this. You're going into a well. If your pain and your trauma and the stuff that is unresolved is down here, then your 5 or 10 minutes of meditation, you're just touching the surface. You're not getting in there. And so you've got to start to feel. Those who are very angry can also be very analytical. Those who are very angry struggle with meditation because they've got so many thoughts going on, and you need to break through a seal. So what happens is you start to meditate, and it's like, just all this overthinking. I can't do it. And then if you're forced, essentially, if you're guided to do it, you're going to break through that, and then suddenly your whole nervous system starts to relax. You'll notice your shoulders drop, and that is your nervous system relaxing. And then you can actually start to glide into this place of flow. And then over time, and you will see this, and you'll see it consistently, you'll go out into the world, situations will happen, events will happen, and they don't have the same sting. They don't have the same level of potency. And you're able to do this. Let me know in the comments, your feedback, the situations that you're experiencing. And if you'd like to chat, you can head to simonlovell.com. Happy to have a conversation with you, talk to you about the process. But essentially, I've laid it out. It's 10 minutes of meditation through to an hour every single day, including weekends. You can't have breaks. You've got to do it. You've got to be on a regimen, essentially. And it depends on how important it is. For those that come to me, it's impacted them financially. It's impacting massively their relationships. Maybe they're losing people. They're starting to create this distance. Now there's eggshells in the relationship, typically, if someone's got anger. So I know the importance of this transformation. And it's actually one of the most fantastic transformations that any person can get, is to actually deal with it. Again, going back to what I said at the start of the video, it's not that you will not experience anger in the future, because events happen, situations happen, and it's an emotion that we all deal with. But if you're dealing with it at a really kind of a deeper level, where you've kind of got to take care of it, then just know that deeper work, when events happen, now you're going to enter a place of calm confidence. I will also say this, which is, when you deal with anger, your communication is also just going to go to the next level. So what I notice with my clients who go through this is that they say, oh my God, my partner is now saying, you've changed, you're different, you're more present with the kids, you're happier, you're better to be around. And what does that do? It brings people in closer, so that they don't have this outer shell of protection, and they open their heart, because also we are open. And when we have anger, we aren't with our heart open, right? Often it's closed. And so people don't get the best of us. And so you deserve to have the best for yourself. I'll see you in another video where we'll tackle other emotions, other areas of emotional intelligence to help you become a more conscious leader, entrepreneur, founder, CEO, and let's take you on this journey. I'll see you very soon. Take care.